Hi. So this is random and different. Um, Last week I made a video about yelling, um, how to find friends, and this is me trying to keep friends. My oldest friend has he's throwing himself a 50th birthday party tonight in a bar with people that probably I won't know anybody there. It is conceivable that my sister will be there. I mean, she's alive, so she could show up. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to know anybody in this place, which is it's nerve-wracking. It's actually better to me than interacting with people I know, because they're all going to be like, oh, where have you been? Where have you been hiding? Blah, blah, blah. And then I do have talking points. I mean, this year I went to 2 new continents. Saturday morning I had surgery. It's fine. But I mean, talking points. I can tell our story. I can talk to people, but this is going to be nerve-wracking. Anyway, I'll keep you updated.
No, he hasn't graduated 8th grade yet. We gotta see if he graduates.
Oh my God. So I did that. They did karaoke. My friend was very, very, very glad to see me. And then he had another person who was the ex-husband of the bartender who just decided we were best buddies and was going to chat with us all night long. But I did that. It was a nice conversation. I did it. Anyway, I'll give a further update when I'm less freaked out tonight. Bye. Hi again. So yeah, I'm not a vlogger. Now that I have had some time to decompress about tonight, again, this entire situation, so absolutely not anything like my ideal interaction, although I don't think I have an ideal interaction. I don't think that it's possible for me to not be awkward with anybody in the world except my son at this point. So I haven't looked at my clips. I think I'm putting them in. They might be so horrible though. But I did go and first of all pat myself on the back. I got a party invitation yesterday and I went tonight. And I think that was by design, because if I had sat and you know, this is a person who's known me for over 40 years. This is a person who, when I said, hey, I got my diagnosis, went, yeah, and? Like, yeah, that describes you. Uh-huh. What? So this is a person that knows me pretty good. So yeah, how's that grammar there? Anyway, so I think it was kind of by design that I wasn't given advance notice about this. Especially, again, it was in a bar. I didn't drink. They thought that was strange. I made excuses. So then he started pushing me to eat the food. I'm like, okay, it's like this evil or the other. So yeah, I went and got some food because I mean it was like a catered thing. It was like, I mean, it was a 50th birthday, so. And then there was this random person. I thought it was going to be like a bajillion people. It was like everybody in the place knew my friend. I thought there was going to be a ton of people, and there weren't. He had some close friends, and then there was this one guy. I thought he was just like a barfly that everybody knew his name. Apparently he's the spouse of one of the bartenders. And this guy, and again, they were drinking. And this guy was drinking more and more, and he's just inserting himself into the conversation and just more and more and more. I was like, it was getting very awkward for me. And he said, and actually my friend and I think we both sort of took this as, one, yeah, you're describing something normal for us, and two, as a sort of a source of pride. He said, that's amazing that you two don't speak to each other, don't hang out, and just out of the blue just sit down and talk to each other like you've always been talking, and there's no awkwardness. Well, he didn't say awkwardness, that's my word. He was just, like this guy, again, drinking. He was tearing up about what he thought was a great friendship between me and this friend of mine who I talk to a few times a year. More than my sister, actually. He said he would have loved it if my sister had shown up. I was so glad that she didn't. Mostly because my mother always set us up. How my mother grew up is 2 is company, 3 is crowd, and if there's 2 people together, then there has to be a third person who is outside. So my sister could have come and the 3 of us had a conversation. She would have insisted that somebody was a target if there was 3 people together, because that's how she grew up. But yeah, so my friend, he basically, I'm really surprised. I mean, I think he knew, and he knew it was limited time, and there were other people that he could spend his time with, but he basically spent the entire time with me. And when he wasn't with me, it was this other guy that was yapping my ear off, and among other things, trying to tell me that everybody should only ever fly Delta. I mean, this is the level of conversation it was with this other guy. Anyway, he apologized to me for leaving me with this guy. I was like, oh, that's nice. I mean, again, he knows me well. So, there's a really good example of the type of person to keep in your life. Is somebody who can really understand and accept all the weirdness. And he's just like, cool, you're here, I'm glad. And that's it. And I mean, he had preset, this is the time for the party. And when the quote unquote end time of the party was coming up, I left, even though nobody else was paying attention to that. They were going, and he had a cake. He was so excited that he was going to have a cake. They hadn't even cut the cake. I mean, they were definitely going to keep going until the place shut down, and maybe even after, because again, it was bartenders. They would just not serve them, but they probably would have kept going. So I'm really glad that I had an exit strategy. And I mean, it sounds bizarre to say that I had an obligation after this party in the middle of the night, but I definitely did, and it was a work thing. Um, so yeah, I left the party and I went to work. And that's also probably why I'm so calm now compared to, I mean, I was pretty anxious, even though it was like chatting and having friendly conversation with an old friend, and we knew each other and it was just reminiscing, basically, more or less. Not really, you know, some of the high points of what we're doing right now. He was describing a work project that he's going to do, that sort of thing, but it was more reminiscing than anything else. So we had the exact same, like, you say one thing and for the other person it would open up, like, you know, their whole life, basically, that, you know, you could say 3 words and it would have them have this big trigger for their entire childhood type thing. And actually I knew that type of situation could happen, and I had a couple of um, sort of nuggets, like, did you remember this sort of thing, in case the conversation didn't go as I expected. Or, I mean, I didn't expect, actually. I thought, like I said, I thought I would be there awkwardly, wallflowered, not interacting, but he like stuck like glue with me and was really happy to talk to me. Um, I didn't expect that. And the thing is, this is going to sound like so braggy, but that's the way a lot of people are with me. And part of it is that I do a lot of things, and I can have conversations with people, and I can every once in a while say something like remarkably funny, and you just never know what's going to come out of me if I'm not trying to, I mean, that sounds so, but seriously, you know, if I'm not stuck in my anxiety and awkwardness, I actually can speak to people. But I have to either have a history and know for sure that I'm not going to have something thrown in my face, or have it be a complete stranger that if it blows up, then I can walk away and I'll never have to interact with them ever again. This middle ground, get to know you crap, is really difficult for me. So I'm kind of hypocritical as far as saying, hey, this is how you have a friend, this is how you maintain a friend. It's sort of like, do as I say, not as I do. But I am not in the point in my life where I'm wanting really or needing to meet people. And a lot of people are out there. So I wanted to put that video out about step by step, this is what you do. And here's a real life example of what I did. And that actually, and this is the God's honest truth, as far as like personally socializing, that might be my one and done for the year. As long as I don't like run into one of my cousins or something. But as you know, and even if I did that, it would be fleeting. It would be like, hi, bye, I've got like something to do, and I'll sit and chat with you for 5 minutes, whatever, but I gotta go. As far as this, like to sit down and have a conversation with somebody, even though, like I said, we were sort of like, I don't know, this guy is just like, he seemed really lonely. I mean, he's a barfly. But yeah, I don't see having that kind of a conversation again for the entire rest of the year. Maybe next year I'll be needing more human interactions for real. Because again, I'm the type that I call it get a hit off people. If I'm around people if I'm listening, like overhearing other people have conversations, that can be enough for me. I know that's not how everybody with avoidant personality disorder operates. Anyway, so that is kind of what I had going on. Also, the karaoke started like, I think they did 2, maybe 3 songs before I left. Because that's the other thing, is before it was quiet, we could talk. I was not hanging around that place when it was so loud you couldn't hear somebody else. But there's proof. I actually got out, interacted with somebody, and next week I'll make sure that I have a more normal video that's me sort of discussing topic rather than attempting to vlog, because I clearly suck at it.